you guys how to pour some concrete steps. We got the truck in here. We're pouring on about a 4-inch swamp. The first thing you're going to do is definitely make sure you spray your forms with some sort of form oil. And you just shake this around in here. I usually start with the bottom step, so we're pouring that in there, shake it around. So you do want to, like, you know, fill these up pretty big. They're pretty full. I don't mind shoveling a little bit here and there, but usually start on the bottom and then work your way up. Okay, that's good for a clip. Come over here, I take a trowel or anything that's flat, and I call it uking. Put it along the base here. Do it. We did this on the rest of them. Oops, sorry. And then you take a hammer, beat the face with it. All right. Then you just mag your stairs. Okay, so once you have it all magged out and good to go, it's not absolutely perfect, but we'll get to that once these set up a little bit. So I'm gonna go do another pour, and then I'll be back and show you what to do next with these stairs. Here we are. We rough poured them, you know, nothing too crazy yet. I just got it where it needed to be so I could go do my other stuff. I have these cross braces on here, and they're what's keeping the steps together, not falling out, everything, but now it's getting stiff, right? I can not put my hand in here too much. It's still soft, but hard enough that you can take these cross braces off. I always test them first. If it gives, you want to probably screw that right back in. Didn't move. Okay. The ones that get like the top one's not a big deal because there's not much weight, but as you go down, you definitely want to test them and see if they're going to give it all, because you don't want your steps falling down on you. Nothing? Alright, we're all good. Cross braces are off, your forms aren't falling, everything's getting stiff. I always start with the top and work your way down, because that's just what makes sense if you're trying to make things clean and right. I always go through here, clean off that form, flick it off, and then you're gonna mag everything nice and flat, filling in all the gaps, all that good stuff. Make sure you got no weird spots. You want all the holes filled in. I got a little hole back there. Okay. Nice and flat. And I always take my little level, because you want your steps pitching, so it's just a precaution. You know, you want to check them. I mean, they're a hell in a way, so we're good. Good to go. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is start cutting an edge in on these steps. So I have other videos about how to do this if you want to go into more detail, but I just cut these in, make them look crisp, and then mag away your edge line. Make them nice and smooth, just like that. And again, this is a rough thing, so I'm just cutting this in. We are gonna have to come back and do this again, but right now we're just knocking the stones out of the way and making sure your steps are pitched. So one more step, or one more time of doing this, and then we'll be ready to finish. So if you notice here, right, these boards are cut, right? You got an angle on them, right? This way you can get your mag up in here and make it nice and clean. If you just have these boards, you know, without that angle on them, your mag's out here, and when you rip these off to finish, it looks really bad. So when you're forming steps up, anytime, you want to cut that angle off of them. So now the next step is exactly like the top. You scrape the form, get all that junk out of there, but this time you can shove your mag up under the board here, mag the flat, and you want to make sure everything is looking how it should, and you're all the way filled in under here. So you see right up in here, right? I got a hole there with some water. You got to make sure that you're filling all that in, making it as smooth as possible. And then again, I am checking with a level in multiple spots, because if it is not pitching away, it will puddle, and you know, that's bad. So you want to make sure all the water is pitching away and down, and you're gonna have no puddling spots. Just do the same thing now. The only difference was getting up under there. Just cut your edge in everywhere, scrape your form off, and then you do that all the way down, no matter how many steps you're doing. Then you edge it again and make it look real clean. There's different ways you can finish it. This one, we are highlighting it because I had to match down there. So these are gonna be highlighted. So this is just the style that I'm doing right now. There's multiple ways to do these stairs. So, clean, erase your marks. Next part is we're gonna brush it. A lot of people do straight brooms, but in this finish we're doing swirls or scallops or whatever you want to call them. We'll start my swirls. First thing I do is I just highlight these. Now what we're gonna do is rip off these forms. You want to be real gentle with them, so you don't want to have any issues. Luckily I just got 2 little scabs to take out. Now this is the fun part. When you be really gentle with these things, I always tap on them with a hammer. I think I might actually have to take... This happens sometimes, so I pop the form off. Even though we put the form oil on there, still this one spot, you know, whatever. So I scraped the cream that was on the board, that stuck to the board, and you can just put it back on here. You want to get to these steps in time to where you can still rub these things. So they're still a little bit wet, but that's okay. I rub these just like I would down here. Steal cream from the bottom, fill in all the holes. Another thing is, you want to take some secret sauce sometimes. This is called a concrete retarder. That, we'll just give it a little bit of water there so we can fix this hole we got. Once you get that where it's like doable, you know, you could finish it, you're going to do the same thing we did up here now. Bag all this out. The next step is you're going to do the face first. So you want a brush that's small or a paintbrush. So I had to highlight these edges, so we're just going to feather in the mag marks that I made right there at the top, just because I don't want to ruin that edge I just did, because if I put the brush on it, it'll mess this up. So I'm just painting the top part away, and you can do this for the whole thing if you want. I just want more defined lines than this light brush, so this is a little bit heavier duty. I just take this and paint the face. Now once all those little holes are filled in, boom, nice and crisp. So now it's the same step as up here. We're gonna fix the little mess up I made, that's it. And you're good to do the same thing. This time I'm just gonna paint the face. Boop, boop. We're gonna go right around doing my swirls. So sometimes when it does do this and you gotta fill it back in and it's wet, you're gonna wanna let this set a little bit longer. You're not gonna wanna hit this with a brush right away, because if you go in with a brush, you'll pull it out and you'll see that. So you wanna let this set a little longer, get hard before you brush the face of this. So we're gonna have to take a little break after I fill in this hole. This is what it's supposed to look like over here when you rip the form off and not have like the stuff fall off, but that's like a perfect edge of a stair is what you want it to look like when you take your forms off. You get this face all prettied up again, same exact thing as the before. Now we're just gonna rub all these marks out from the cream you stole, all that, getting a bunch of cream up in the corner. And then again, we're highlighting, or we're going over this edge again, just so it's nice and easy to highlight after we brush, taking those marks away. That's what it's supposed to look like when you take the form off. No honeycombs, nothing stuck to the board. That was an absolutely perfect form pull. If you don't get your trowel in, like in the beginning, what we were doing with getting the trowel in on the edge, this is what happens. So it's not important because it's gonna be below grade here, but these are called honeycombs. And if it is too hard, or you don't have like a spot with you can pull up cream, you're never gonna fix that. So it's really important that you vibrate the edges or get a trowel and tap them with a hammer and all that good stuff. I just sealed these steps and they are completely done. Now I want to tell you guys, there's about a million different ways you can do this. This is just this circumstance. This is what we were doing here, and that's how I did these steps and the steps below. There's different ways you can do it. You could do no highlighted edges. You can sponge the faces. All sorts of different techniques and all sorts of different ways to get the same product, but this is just the way I like to do it. Thank you very much for watching.